This is Kevin with rcplanebuilder.com. Today I'm going to be assembling our all-new Wicked Jack 55. We'll begin by showing you the tools and supplies that are required or recommended. Latex gloves, optional, small needle nose pliers, a small Phillips screwdriver, a hobby knife with a sharp blade, a square, a cloth for any cleanup, a heat gun or cigarette lighter, CA glue, and optional kicker. I'm using foam tack, or you can use welder for assembly, soup cans or soda cans for weight, and some guys like to lay down parchment paper to keep glue off of their work surface. Let's go ahead and unbox the Yak 55. Here you see our foam pieces. Mostly EPO, but there are some EPP pieces as well, and some hardware. And our 1-inch blender hinge tape, and you can ignore that other piece that should have been in with the hardware. Let's begin by hinging our control surfaces. We'll first hinge the elevator, so you'll need to get your elevator and your horizontal fuselage. I'm going to unroll some hinge tape. I'm going to center it along the stabilizer hinge line. Once I'm satisfied with the fit, I'll stick it down. I don't want to stick it down. If I'm not satisfied, if I have to pull it back up, it can pull up the graphics on the plane. Go ahead and trim to fit. This is one way to hinge. You can also hinge both surfaces at the same time. I'll show you that on the ailerons and the rudder. Here I'll go ahead and center the stabilizer into the elevator, just slightly butting the hinge surfaces together. You don't want to press too tight. Once satisfied that you're centered and aligned correctly, go ahead and press the tape down real good. You'll see it's nice and loose. Now we'll go ahead and cut off about 1.5 inches of tape. I just freehand cut it here. You can measure if you would like. What we're going to do is hinge the back side, so we'll flip the elevator up over onto the stabilizer. And on the outer edges, we're going to stick this tape down as shown. We want to press it down. The goal is to get the adhesive on this tape here to stick to the adhesive that is on the front side tape. This makes for a very durable and loose hinge. Now we'll go ahead and repeat and do the second outer edge. Now we'll go ahead and hinge the ailerons and the wing. You want to center your aileron, make sure your gaps are even here. Again, the hinge line should just lightly be butted together. We'll go ahead and hinge the center section here. Hold the tape over until the tape is centered over the hinge line. Once satisfied, press it down again, and we'll trim it to fit. Try not to go over the hinge line and pull it up again. You can pull the graphics up off of the plane. Now we'll do the outer and inner edges. Next, I'm going to move the hinge to make sure it's free. You can see I'm getting a little bit of binding. That happens on some of the kits just due to the inconsistent laser cutting. You'll just need to trim a little bit away here. I'm freehand cutting it. It's just about 1 millimeter or so of a cut. You can stick a straight edge down if you would like. This is going to give me enough clearance so that the hinges move freely. Again, you want a really good sharp hobby knife for this. And you see it's nice and loose. Now we'll go ahead and hinge the back side in the same manner that we did with the elevator. Start with the innermost edge of the aileron. And I'll want to do the same, let's see, here, there, and on the outer edge here. I tried lots of different hinging in the prototypes with the Yak 55, and in the end I went with blender both because it's very durable and it's really loose, so it's really helps out the servo. Not putting a lot of load on it. Now we're going to go ahead and do the same for the right hand side aileron. Now let's go ahead and hinge the top half of the rudder. You'll want to leave a gap between this vertical stabilizer and the rudder to make sure that the rudder can move freely. Again, center your hinge tape before pressing it down over the hinge line once satisfied. Go ahead and press it down and trim to fit. Now let's go ahead and do the back side. Here I'm just going to put one on the highest section there on the stabilizer right up at the top. You could put two down if you'd like. I found one to be durable enough. I haven't had any problems with it. And now we are done. Next we'll want to get our vertical, horizontal, and our wing. That's the vertical bottom section. We're going to go ahead and trial fit everything, make sure it all fits good. Lay your wing over the horizontal fuselage and slide in your bottom vertical piece. The tab should slide in real easily and seat down. The vertical section should seat down nicely on the horizontal section. Once satisfied, we're going to run some glue here as shown. It doesn't take a lot of glue, just a really small bead, kind of along the circumference. And I run just a little in the center. Now we'll kind of align the wing up over the horizontal fuselage. We're going to line up these two holes here and there. Next we'll go ahead and glue the lower vertical fuselage. You don't want to get glue on the top of the tabs here, just all along the length. We do want to glue the sides of the tabs. This helps a lot with durability. Now we're going to press this down. Now one thing you want to make sure is that your nose, your bottom fuselage, vertical fuselage, aligns with the horizontal fuselage at the nose where the motor will mount. This will make sure your motor sets flush. Once satisfied, I'm going to go ahead and wipe off any excess glue. You want to press it down really good. You want a really good seat. You'll notice we have a little bit of movement in the wing. This is so that we can adjust to make sure our wing is square with our tail section. We'll measure from the outer edge of the aileron to the back side of the elevator. And if it's shown on either side, make sure it's all squared up. Make sure to press everything down real good. And we can use our square to make sure that the vertical stabilizer is squared with the horizontal. The vertical fuselage is squared with the horizontal fuselage. Again, I want to emphasize that you want to make sure that your nose is flush. Your vertical section needs to be flush with the horizontal section. The vertical can slide back and forth. You want your thrust line to be straight and the motor to mount straight so that your plane pulls straight. It doesn't have a tendency to pull up or down. Next, we'll just weigh this down with our soup or soda cans and go ahead and take a break while the glue sets up.